Ravaged Rosenborg Rini Coolen head in a time of crisis after preparations for their Champions League showdown with Celtic were thrown into chaos. The Norwegian champions under fire chiefs will be hoping Dutchman Rini Coolen is the answer after the youth coach was thrust into the red hot seat. Rosenborg suffered a 1-0 aggregate defeat to Celtic in last season's qualifiers, and while a trip to Parkhead is daunting enough for most managers, Coolen could be forgiven for feeling greater trepidation when he crosses the North Sea this week. The 51-year-old has been put in interim charge for the most important spell of the season after the controversial sacking of Karen Gebrigtsen and assistant Erik Hoften. Rosenborg's call came despite beating Valor of Iceland, albeit with a stoppage time penalty, to set up a meeting with the hoops and led to a player revolt. Coolen's job is to somehow unite the club, put a team on the pitch and come up with a tactical plan to get them a result in Glasgow on Wednesday. Theo Snelders worked with Coolen in the Netherlands. Former Aberdeen and Rangers keeper Theo Snelders knows Coolen better than most after working under him during his 2 years in charge of Twente and Shed. That was also a job where he had to put out fires with the club on the brink of administration, but he led them to a famous win over Ajax in Amsterdam and they finished a respectable 7th and 9th in the Eredivisie. But that couldn't save Coolen from the sock after 2 seasons, and he has since had stints in charge in the Dutch lower leagues, Australia and the Aruba national team before moving to Rosenborg. Snelders believes his old boss is the ideal man for the club to call upon and reckons he could use the players' anger to galvanize the team. Karen Gebrigtsen won't get the chance to lead Rosenborg against Celtic again after his side went down 1-0 on aggregate last year. Image, SNS Group. He told Record Sport, "I worked with Rini at Twente and Shed. He was assistant coach to René van der Eycken at first and then he took over. René was an experienced player and coach and could see danger ahead at Twente as the club had real financial problems. They were close to administration and could only bring in free transfers or injury-prone players, and van der Eycken decided to leave. Rini was a young, promising coach and Twente didn't have money, so they gave him the responsibility. The club had a 3-year plan to balance the books and Rini did very well in his first season. We beat Ajax away and that was a sensational result for us because it was only the second time in the club's history they had won in Amsterdam and the first time in 14 years. But the second year was tough because people expected more and it wasn't possible with the squad we had. He was a promising young coach when he took the job, but for him it was the wrong step. Twente were a bit of a roller coaster at that time and I'd call it crisis management. That kind of experience will ensure he's equipped to handle the Rosenborg job." Coolen's time at FC Twente will stand him in good stead, according to Snelders. Image, Getty. He's a calm guy with a good personality and gets on well with players. It still can't be easy to be placed in a situation like this with the backlash. He is a very good person, he has knowledge of the game and can really spot talent. He is tactically very aware and can spot danger from the opposition. He's been put in an awkward position and everything is against him, but maybe the players will take their anger out on the board when they play against Celtic. Rini was a very calm guy and that's how he was as a player. I watched him play a few times, but from what people who knew him better have told me, he was tactically very aware. He wasn't the quickest, but when you lack pace you are usually quicker in the brain, and as a coach you could see, he thought about the game. While the Rosenborg players expressed their anger at Gebrigtsen's dismissal, Snelders believes they will be focused by kick-off time in Glasgow. Alex Smith with the Skull Cup left, and the SFL Cup during his Aberdeen heyday. His departure did not please the Dons dressing room. Image, SNS Group. He recalled the pituitary dressing room being upset when popular boss Alex Smith was given the boot at Aberdeen in 1992, but they soon rallied round Willie Miller. Snelders said, "Footballers play for their own pride and providing they get their wage slip at the end of the month they're not bothered." Of course you train with the manager every day, but we're talking about a place in the Champions League, and that is the most important thing. When I was at Aberdeen, every one of the players was hurt when Smith was sacked, but when the new man comes in, you want to help him for your own career. And sometimes you need players to get angry to get the best out of them. It might look like a crisis just now, but afterwards they might say it's a blessing in disguise.